Okay, today we have yet another viral foundation in Japan to try. It's this uemura Unlimited Care Tsuya Serum Foundation. So serum foundation is very popular right now in Japan. So like every single brand is trying to push out serum foundation. I think serum foundation wasn't like a new concept, I know that, but I think the trend recently was started by the Shiseido foundation, which is also pretty viral in Western platforms, right? And this is the one that's probably most recent released. The serum type foundation is from the brand uemura. It says it improved skin texture and it has tsuya glow perfection. Tsuya means just glow, so I don't know why they squeeze that word there. It's like literally gonna mean glow perfection. See this? Tsuya glow perfection. Like why? Just say tsuya or say glow. Supposed to, care for your skin while you're wearing it. It has 20 shades and it has niacinamide, all sorts of skincare benefits. A special light reflecting effect is what's said in this little pamphlet. And overall, this is just their newly released glowy serum foundation with skincare infused in it. I'm curious. Let's try it. I have already put it in this little jar, and this consistency, it's way thicker than I thought. You can see it's like barely runny. Normally serum foundations in Japan are like truly a serum formula. It's like super runny, like a touch thicker than water. So this is so thick, like it's almost a cream foundation thick. It's like kind of confusing me. Of course, I have my eye makeup on, and for base, I have skincare and sunscreen, and on this side, I layered a little bit of this Declutter Sun Shelter Tone Up CC UV Primer, SPF 50 PA+++++. Yeah, this says it's like Tone Up CC, so it's probably marketed as a CC cream, but it barely has much coverage. Well, it has a little bit coverage, but like not a lot. I recently found out this is like actually very oil controlling in a way, and also pore filling. So I really like this one. So I want to see how the foundation layer on top of this primer. So I apply to this half of my face, and this half is just skincare and sunscreen. I'm gonna apply this with a spatula and pat and blend it with the cushion puff. Yeah, let's get closer. And the shade I have is 554. There are 20 shades. I'm not sure about globally, but at least in Japan there are 20 shades. I think this shade range make more sense than other brands, even if we say this is just marketed towards East Asian people, because I think I have already said in multiple videos, East Asian are not as fair as you think, or like the skin tone is not as narrow as you think. You cannot look at K-pop idols and decide all Asians are just fair or light skin tone. Again, we are just talking about East Asian. We are not even including all Asian people, okay? Like East Asian people think we are super fair or light looking at the K-pop idols. But first of all, we naturally comes in different skin tone and undertone as well, just as any other race, okay? And from my experience, like living more than 30 years in Asia, we can be born pretty tan naturally. Like we have fair, light, medium, tan, and deep, right? I have seen multiple people just born with tan skin, like fully Asian, not even like mixed with like other race. No, just pure East Asian can born pretty tan. And I can even say like it's pretty rare, but sometimes people can born with such a dark skin, if you just see their arm, you might think they're black. Of course, not the blackest black people can get, but like on the lighter side of black people, East Asian people can get that dark naturally. And on top of that, a large amount of us tan a lot. I can be from fair to tan if I fully go outside and just let myself tan. So all this long story is saying, even if you want to just market towards East Asian people, you at least have to do this. Okay, this is not even perfect, but I think at least this makes sense. Okay, it covers from fair to medium, and there's two like darker shades for like tan people. I think this can do a little bit better, but this at least makes sense for me. Even for a brand that's fully for East Asian people, you know. And on top of that, I don't think uemura is only for East Asian. I think this is like a relatively global brand. The shade I have is 574, which is right in the middle. And this should not be my shade. My shade should be 764. That's my shade. So this is a shade that might be a little bit too pink and a shade too light for me. And this is another thing I found out in East Asia. The shopping assistant tend to match you a shade lighter than you are. I don't know if this is true, but I almost feel like they are afraid of offending people by matching their natural shade. Again, could be just in my head, but considering the toxic beauty standard here, that's not something that's like impossible. I almost, because every single time they match me a shade lighter than I am, so I don't think that's a coincidence. And this shade, they see me in real life and match me with this shade. Okay, it's too much rant. Let's apply this. We're gonna apply to the side without primer first. This is not as pink as I thought, because normally this is a neutral undertone supposedly. A neutral undertone will like seem a little bit too pink for me a lot of times. And a dry cushion puff, which is my preferred way to apply foundation. And this foundation on the skin, actually, it feels more like a serum foundation, like it's very thin. But I don't know how this works, because when in the jar, you squeeze out of the bottle, it's pretty thick. But once it's on the skin, it feels like a serum, actually. And I'm actually rushing to try this sample because there's a sale going on right now, and I can get this foundation for a pretty good deal. So I'm trying to know, is this a foundation that I would like? Okay, it's fully blending. Fully blending. Fully blended. It's actually looking surprisingly good. Like, let me show you. Can you even see? I think my camera and this natural lighting can manage to show my pores pretty well. Like, it would not cover my pores and textures. And what do you think? I think it's looking very great. And this side is like foundation free, and it covered the redness I have and a little bit darkened it under my eyes. My forehead is like having something happening right here. I don't know what it is, but like little bumpy things. I went to a hot spring yesterday, so maybe that's why. But yeah, it looks, and it's like have this glow, because this foundation should be glowy. It's called Unlimited Care Tsuya Serum Foundation. Tsuya in Japanese just means like glowy. So this should be like glowy foundation, and I think the glow is not like grossly oily type of glow. It really looks like a skincare kind of glow. I really like it. So now let's apply on the other side. I just scooped out a little bit at first and I spread on this half, and I feel like the spatula still holds another half of the face. So I feel like you can get away with using less product with this formula. Like trying new foundations is really one of the things I like to do the most. So I have like actually a lot of samples to try. Actually this shade, because the undertone isn't too far off, it doesn't look that bad on me actually. But I just don't think this is the right like tone for me. Like undertone is right, but tone is a little bit, at least one shade too light for me. I think my shade is still 764. That's always my shade in uemura foundations. A lot of high-end brand, they make sure a number or like a certain name is attached to a certain foundation shade, if that makes sense. Because is anybody feel the same as me? The most confusing thing is to have one name of a particular foundation shade meaning different colors in different formulas in the same brand. I don't know if that super long sentence even makes sense, but for example, the worst of this situation is Armani. In some of their foundations, I'm the shade 4.5. In other foundation, the shade 4.5 is so pink, and I have to use the shade 4. And then in the other foundation, 4 and 4.5 both don't work for me, and it's like some other weird shade, and I have to figure out what my shade is. Start from 0. It's so confusing. It's like the same size of pants, but it means actual different sizes in different styles in the same brand. It's like, why do brands even do this? Do they hate their customer? Like, so I think one thing about Japanese foundations I really like is like at least one name is attached to a certain shade and you can just go for that shade. Like if you know that number means it's your shade. Okay, it's like unnecessary long rant, but on this side I think it still look pretty great actually. This side is normally my problematic side and it's not doing things that's like super weird. It's like just a touch heavy here, which that's to be expected actually. Most foundation look like a little bit weird at that region. And on this weird bumpy area, I think it's gliding over pretty nicely. And even though I look pretty glowy, right? But I don't think I look like grossly oily, like healthy amount of glow, I feel like. Even though I still would love to have like a more matte finish than this. But yeah, I don't hate this. Let's apply some blush on top, because sometimes the foundation doesn't work well if you blend other product on top. And this is just some RMS blushes that I use all the time. I'm trying to finish. And the shade in the shade Beloved, which I think this right now is like a viral shade because supposedly a makeup artist used like a red blush on the runway so the models look natural, and the person saying that in that viral video was talking about this red shade from RMS Beauty. And the foundation looked okay. It was not disturbed by the blending of this blush. Okay, let's apply powders on top of them. I'm gonna apply quite a bit of powder because it's still pretty hot in Japan right now. I don't know, it's like already October. Why it's still so hot right outside? Like there are some like more chill days, but today is definitely not that day. And is this a like global warming? Because I don't remember it to be still this hot last year. I think last year is already pretty chill, like in the October. It's like 30 degrees outside today. Okay, this is looking so pretty. Is like this brand still selling in Western countries? Or are they right now only in Asia? Because I remember uemura being a pretty global brand, but recent years I rarely see anybody talking about them. So I'm just curious, like if any of you, I think actually most of you are from Western countries. Do you see this brand in your country? Under my eyes, look a touch heavy. But other than that, pretty flawless. Pretty flawless. Okay, my makeup is done. I have not put any highlighters because I don't want to tweak the finish. This is how it's looking right now. I think it looks pretty good. So I will see you in a couple hours to update on how this wears. And maybe some other photos taken under like using my phone to, you know, show you how it looks like under different lenses. See you in the update. It's 7 hours later and I think you can see how oily I am. And this side is the side with the Declutter primer, the CC Tone Up primer, UV primer thing. And I think it really slightly controlled the oil compared to this side without it. I feel like this foundation looked pretty great throughout the day. And I haven't done any touch-up. It's looking great other than looking oily for the whole day. But looking oily is like pretty common for me in this season. Today is like a pretty hot day for giving it's October. So normally I will be oily, and also again considering I haven't touched up the whole day, I don't add anything, but at least I do this throughout the day sometime. But today I didn't for the whole day to show you how it looks at the end of the day. But I feel like after blotting it's a little bit, I feel like it's looking pretty good. There's no settling into the pores. There's no like heaviness or like gathering or anything. Overall, I really liked this foundation, but I decided to not purchase the whole bottle as if right now. Not because this is good. I actually would really love to have a full bottle, but I feel like I have too many foundations to buy another full bottle for right now. I think I'm gonna continue to try samples from other brands, like other foundations, because I really love to try new foundations. And I think this style of just trying a sample, it's more suitable for me right now, so that I don't have to like have this big clutter of foundations that I can never finish. I think the next one will be a Declutter foundation again. The last one I did is the glowy one, and the next one I want to do the original version of that glowy one, which is like more of a matte foundation. That foundation actually has a pretty good shade range. It has 40 shades, and I feel like it make more sense to try that foundation and show it on the internet because it's a more inclusive shade range. And that one, I think, won a couple award last year. That's like a pretty well-known, popular, like cult favorite foundation in Japan. And yeah, that's it for the day. I'm gonna take a shower and wash this all off. Thank you for watching. Bye.